When I was in college, I pitched stories to a school project class. Pitching is frightening enough as it is, but I made it just the more interesting by pitching a handful of stories that were very personal to me. But who am I kidding? What stories aren't personal to someone? A personal favorite of mine was a simple story about a boy meeting a girl. I have a lot of stories that would sound just like that. I guess it's just something I think about a lot. The story's purpose was to show how one girl's involvement in this boy's life changed it for the better. How it made the day less lonely, made his home less cold, helped him live again, something he had been missing from his days for a long while before he met her. It was simple, sweet, and left that special empty feeling in my chest once it came to a close. It was a catch, or as much as it could have been. People seem to enjoy it well enough. Everyone always has their own version of a story, and I don't need to tell you that a room full of art students would have more than a few thoughts on the whole thing. And that's fine. I wouldn't change a thing, of course. It's my story, after all. There was one critique that has stayed with me, though, after all these years. The teacher leading the pitch day mentioned that one thing would need changing, and it was how the relationship between the girl and the boy was framed. She said that we wouldn't want it to come across like the boy was dependent on the girl. We wanted to make sure it was understood that he has found strength to carry on from himself, and that she's just a positive addition in his life. We don't want it to come across that he can only live with her there, and this was echoed by some of the students as well. I nodded my head. I was open to hearing people's thoughts, but I couldn't help feeling surprised at this criticism, because to me it seemed so obvious that that girl was the reason he carried on. She was the reason he could live. It surprised me because that was, in fact, the point of the story. And it surprised me that other people found that concerning, uncomfortable. And while I could understand why and where they were coming from, and perhaps that there were some dark implications in that, I look back at that day now and I have come to the realization that if given the opportunity to pitch that story again, I would not change a single thing. It is a story about a person in a deep, dark place, and how someone came along and turned on a light. It's a story about how a boy met a girl. I mean, isn't that what it's all about? The genders are interchangeable in any direction there could be. It's about that idea, the boy meets girl concept, what it represents in storytelling. Two people meet, and the world's colliding, for better or for worse. But we hold out for better. Some of us hold out for better. You see, I know that you cannot live your life completely focused on a single other person. It's not healthy, and clearly my teacher and classmates recognized that. And I'll be the first to agree. But, of course, that is not really what I was getting at with that story. Would the boy have continued to live if the girl wasn't there, broken home life and all? Surely yes. People have survived through equally terrible things, sometimes even through things that you could consider to be so much worse. But who's measuring? No, I have no doubt he would continue to stay alive. But you see, I think that staying alive is the easy part. You eat, you bathe, you go out and get a job to earn money, to buy the food to eat so that you have enough energy to go back to the job tomorrow. You do all the mundane things that we've decided we have to do to be alive in this world. You don't need to be invested in that, or to care about that. You simply need to do it. Is it truly that simple for everyone? No. Does everyone have the means to accomplish all of those things? Sadly, no. But people have survived through the worst things imaginable, and stayed alive through the ordeal. So even in the worst scenarios, people still carry on despite it all. The struggle ultimately is not whether or not you can be alive until tomorrow comes. Being alive is the easy thing to do. Living is hard, and living is frightening. It is difficult to figure out, to understand. That's where people come in, because people make living simpler. They make living easier. Through thick and thin, people can be there. They can be the constant in an inconsistent world, and that is the point. Not whether you can hold on to your life, it's whether or not you can live it. Without the people I love, I would be alive, but I would not be living. that would be someone else. And they would do just fine, surely. But that person would not be me anymore. A piece of me will go with every person I love, until I am no longer the person I am with them here. I do need my loves to live. And I understand why the story of that kind of love was so frightening to the people I pitched it to. Because that thought is scary. In the blink of an eye, we are ash. We are a memory. Waking up every day is a miracle. Getting to go to bed, a gift. People are finite and temporary. They are fleeting. To open oneself to that sort of loss is terrifying. To surrender oneself to the possibility, no, the inevitability of such loss is foolhardy. Yet we do so every single day. Not all of us, but many, because we are brave and always have been. Because we continue to exist through even the worst things imaginable. Because we know what good is, we feel it is always within reach. And is that not what it's all about? Doing what's scary? Doing what's frightening despite ourselves? Opening ourselves up to be scared? Everything a risk. That is living. The boy would be alive without the girl. But to say that he should not, what does not depend on her, to continue to live as himself, that is to give in to the fear of what that might mean. And what is fear but a reminder of what matters most to us, and what's at stake if we lose it?